Music is built on three foundational elements: rhythm, melody, harmony. Let's take a look at melody. Melody is a series of notes that are organized sequentially to create a musical phrase. Musical phrases can then be created and organized to build larger musical works. Let's take a look at three melodies that are familiar to many. The first one is Ode to Joy by Beethoven. As we observe and listen to the melody, the first part of it, let's look for how we can characterize this basic melody. Just the first part, that's enough to give us an idea of what characteristics are in that melody. What do you observe when you listen? Think about the pitch of each note from one to the next. Is there a major difference? Is there a minimal difference? In this case, Ode to Joy moves sequentially from one note to the next, and the pitch, the frequency, doesn't change much. This is known as conjunct motion. When you look at the keyboard that's being played, you'll notice that the notes of the keyboard manual are right next to each other, within a half step or a whole step. That's conjunct motion. Let's take a look at another well-known melody, Joy to the World. Now, as you hear it, as you see the keyboard being played, what do you think? Does it look like there's conjunct motion? Does it look like one note is moving sequentially to the next note without skipping any notes, or maybe skipping a half step? Well, that's in fact correct. This is a conjunct motion in Joy to the World, similar to Ode to Joy. Let's take a look at the third example, the Star-Spangled Banner. We can look at just the first part of it and get an idea of whether it will be conjunct motion or something else. What do you observe? Do you observe any conjunct motion? I observe in a couple places, yes. But for the most part, we see that there is a wider spread from one note to the next. This is known as disjunct motion. The first note starts on the G, moves down the E to the C. So we're skipping at least a whole step, more than a whole step. And then, from there, so you're seeing larger jumps from one note to the next. This is known as disjunct motion. And for the first part of the Star-Spangled Banner, that's really what we find. Now at that part, we have a little bit of conjunct motion. And then from here, we have a large leap back to conjunct motion. But what you'll find is that the song is very much characterized by a lot of disjunct motion. So, two characteristics that you can listen for in any melody is the type of motion that it has, conjunct or disjunct.